Awesome. It's being recorded. Hi, everybody. This is Carol. We have a smaller crowd today, so I wanted to record this session. We have our amazing speaker, Ed, coming to talk about SP ROI. This is the second time we're talking about it. The first time, I just briefly glazed over it, and now we have an expert in-house to talk about the SP ROI that you can be looking at in terms of the hardware investment and the labor cost of a data center and how much it is to rent equipment and all that. So without further ado, Ed, I'll let you take over.
Sure. Thanks for the intro, Carol. I can share screen, right? Me. I think so. Can you guys see my? Yeah. Okay.
Perfect.
Hi guys. Very excited to be here to talk about this product. Just to also answer any questions you guys might have. A little bit introduction to myself. I'm Edward. I'm a research scientist at Starboard. I was mainly working for and in charge of this SPRI product, especially during the later observable iterations. So I'm just going to quickly run through the agenda, little bit introduction about Starboard, and just talk about the calculator, maybe demo on the observable website, and just make some remarks and take questions from you guys, and let's just make some casual chat. I think majority of you might have used the Starboard dashboard. So basically, we're a team that recognizes that the rapid Filecoin network development leads to increasing complexities, and we're here to help mainly through two lenses. First is provide some network analytics to support governance and the operation of the network, different stakeholders in the network in general. So you've seen the dashboards, the health metrics, reputation systems, and value flow analytics. The other part is we do facilitate, leverage the existing tech capabilities to develop some apps that can better promote this concept of Web3 data economies. Basically provide a gamified experience for users to basically onboard data for clients to onboard data onto the network. So I guess sort of our SPRI calculators are features into this grand scheme of leveraging simulation and scientific approach of helping you guys, helping the stakeholders to make better informed decisions. So the goal is really to help you guys optimize the agent's economic behavior. And we do have so right now the official product link is the one you've seen, probably already browsed through it a bit in the observable. So here today, I just want to quickly stress three features that I think worth mentioning. First is it is a observable deployment by purpose, and because we actually want to open source a simulation for the community guys to fork and review or just make their own modifications. So in terms of the algorithm, right, it's all open, it's all white box. So basically we conduct a one agent simulation, right? Basically, we just assume that there is a representative storage provider in the network, and with the appropriate network assumptions, and with you guys, each of you guys have different cost structures and financial investment terms. So with that sort of particular investment tracking in mind, what is the sort of storage provider's return when when this agent commits resources into a network? So basically, we provide that kind of level of one agent simulation to gain some insights into economic activities. Basically, one agent against the entire network. So we do include a variety of input parameters, as you can see from the product. I'll show you in later slides as well. Basically, it can seem a bit daunting first, but the main reason we kind of still keep a variety of parameters there is we really want users to sweep through different networks or network search provider simulation business scenarios. Right? We really want to make this a robust for you guys to see parameters and understand different forecasts. So I guess the best way to understand this product is to think about it as a box, right? What are the simulation inputs? What are the parameters? And correspondingly, what are the outputs or the reporting metrics we're going to see? So if you're talking about simulation parameters, the two classes, right? First of all, what is the network behavior? And second of all, you have an environment as a whole, right? You have a network. So what is the doing that projection, simulation projection period? What are some reliable assumptions for the network. So how the network is projected to behave. So then comes you guys as the agent, what are your specific business assumptions? So for the network session, so firstly, you need to input basically the forecast period, right? Basically the number of months you want the simulation to be based on. And you also can input the projected monthly network growth. Recall that, if you think about the crypto econ of a Filecoin protocol, right? Essentially, it's about how individual SP storage providers is kind of behaving compared to the overall network. So this kind of a projected monthly network growth parameter will help to will kind of have a kind of a influence on the SP's economic output as well. So usually when the growth, we usually feed this parameter real time from the network data. But when it's kind of negative, we doing like for a couple of days, the data onboarding has been negative for a while. If you visited our dashboard frequently. So we do have some, but right now the simulation is not working well with negatively inputted network growth rate. We're trying to fix that, but now I think if you click on if you're on a website, there is a box where you can see the code. We actually set a minimum between 1% and what is the network growth rate, monthly growth. So now here you also have the projected verified storage percent, which is what is the average percentage of total storage capacity that stores a Filecoin Plus deal over the forecast period, as well as the projected monthly burn. So these items mainly influence the growth, the raw byte capacity, the qualified power, the qualified power, as well as how the fill burned influences the overall circuit supply, and therefore has a bearing impact on the SP's economic output. So keep in mind that all these can be swept. So if you just want to see, you can sort of drag this different toggle and just see how when one certain network assumption changes, how the corresponding economic output changes accordingly. So now it comes to the SP business assumptions. Here I want to make a big shout to Stu. Since he's here, he has been tremendously helpful in helping the team figuring these out, right? Because again, I want to stress the fact that we approach the simulation of this product from a data science slash sort of a economic crypto econ modeling perspective. So when we were the first couple of versions when trying to make this set of assumptions, they were kind of hard to read from you guys' perspective, from SP perspective, and Stu and I think has been really helpful in helping us restructure the way these are presented. So basically, you have the power commit and sealing capacity, right? So as an SP, you can input, what is the total amount of surge bytes you plan to come into the network during that simulation period. Then you can also input a daily seeding capacity, right? What is the maximum sector seeding capacity you guys have on a daily basis? So based on that, we'll actually calculate as a smooth division, or calculate, what is the number of days, or what is the sort of a seeding schedule you guys have based on the total roll bytes are going to come in, and also based on this daily seeding capacity. There is also a parameter called projected percentage storage in Filecoin Plus. This, at least from our perspective, this has been a really important parameter, at least from the SP business assumption perspective, because given the current fill price, so if you're conservative about current fill price, and given that the network has been onboarding Filecoin Plus deals crazy, you kind of need to have a robust high percentage of storage in Filecoin Plus deals to basically make the business sort of a profitable. So we do have hardware. There's another section called hardware investment finance. So here we provide a bunch of different options for you to express your, what is your sort of a fiat investment finance structure. So there's a capital borrowed. What is an annual interest rate? What is your hardware investment? After you're done, well, what is the total value of resale? And what is your, those are some sort of a fixed cost, right? What about the variable operating costs? We also have the off-chain costs such as labor and rents. So the idea is you guys can come in and input those parameters yourselves. And there's also a section called deals fees. Although I think this is quite trivial for now, but had the economic output sort of changes in the future, you can also maybe like there's one day you guys can start charge deal fees. These can also be counted as part of the revenue as well. So now that we've briefly talked about what the inputs are, let's talk about the simulation output. So two parts, right? One is the graph, the other is the miscellaneous metrics. So I think we can start with the bottom one. So I think the most obvious one is because you're committing resources into network, you're trying to you pledge a certain amount of fills and you kind of gain rewards, right? So I think the most obvious graph to start with is the on-chain reward at pledge. But this only looks through, what is the amount of fill you pledged as the deposits and what is the total block rewards. So you gain through the forecasting period. Now, this graph also demonstrates you what is the locked and released rewards dynamics. So you can actually, not only visualize, what is the total block rewards I receive at a particular time, you can also see, how much has been locked and how much has been released at that particular timestamp. So the above one is more sort of expressive in the way that all of the previous fiat assumptions of hardware investment finance, the SV income statements takes those into consideration. You can also select, what reporting currency you want it to be. If you're gonna, if you feel like everything fiat is kind of visually appealing, you can just click USD. There is also fill option as well. So here are some corresponding sort of economic metric or reporting statistics. So you can actually set what is the expected sell price at which to sell all of the mined rewards, so sort of cashed out, right? Or actually to evaluate your position, provide a fair valuation to the position. So I think there is a API tied behind this that feeds you the real-time fill price. Might be laggy a bit, but not by too much. So here, basically, you can see what here you can see, from simulation, what is the total block rewards you're going to get? What is the total pledge? If you basically divide the block rewards by pledge, what is the annualized fill on fill return? And here, these are the items corresponding to the first graphs that include more of the fiat items. What are your total revenues? What are so if you think about this, this is more like the block rewards times the total block rewards mined times the expected sell price plus some deal revenue. What is your hardware capex? And when you sort of subtract all of the terms, what is your total USD profit? And what is your annualized storage ROI for reporting in both the USD based and fill based statistics. So I guess I'll jump into the product in a second, but let me just make a couple of remarks. So again, as I said, right, so this is we designed this product from a sort of crypto econ simulation perspective. And it's because people like Stu and the ASPA program that were kind of sort of adding a lot of suggestions to this and make it sort of SP friendly. But we do sort of customize it to support specific use cases. So for instance, I personally wrote a FIP duration version 2. So basically, if you remember the FIP 006 discussion, that was really heatedly debated. So we kind of wrote this a modification of the public version of the SPRI to support discussion of all that product. So what I'm trying to convey here is you guys can sort of customize this on your own. So if you guys feel like there's any of so for instance, right, if you guys have an additional hardware investment term you want to sort of add into this, or if you guys feel like there is some economic structure that's missing from this, you guys can just fork out Zulu and just like add some modification through it. And another point is there is a couple of, again, right, this is a simulation. We must cut down some fidelity to make it, to kind of balance out between accuracy and speed of execution. So we do have some details that haven't been added to the public version yet, such as like the current version doesn't really model expiration and renewal modeling. As a network as a whole, schedule expiration is a very important problem. How much in total, right, if you look at the network as a whole, on daily basis, there's a dynamics between expiration and renewal. That's also kind of important. We do have a tested version. I'm not ready to launch it yet, but it should be there very soon. And I just want to let you guys know that this is not a network-based sort of agent-based simulation per se, because in a traditional agent-based simulation, you would have you basically input a list of all SPs on the network, provide them with reasonable assumptions, and just let them interact with each other, right? Here, we're purposely select one uniform agent, purposely to sort of isolate out the storage provider business assumptions and use that to derive the economic terms. So I guess let me sort of share the website. Yeah. So this is a product, right? As I said, nothing sort of corresponding to the sort of things you see over the slides. So if you can, let's just maybe drag a couple of these. So as I was saying, right, one of the parameters that sort of surprises me the most is like how these terms can actually heavily impact the mining return, right? So if you change this to slightly vary this to 10%. By the way, it is browser based and it can be slow sometimes. So please feel free to be patient. You can see like how this can actually impact the sort of annualized storage return, right? If you're kind of curious about this, you can also correspondingly track, what is the network average of the project verified storage percent, and you will see, the actual storage return ROI. It depends on the ratio between. It's actually a variable of the ratio between your own storage fill plus deal percentage against the entire network, right? So if you add this to like something like 60, that kind of boosts it up as well. Yeah, guys, I think maybe I'll just like stop it for now, pause it for now, and just keep like inviting some questions from the audience. And if whatever you guys want to ask about the product and you have suggestions on how can we make it better, I'm just here to just take suggestions and answer. I'm happy to chat. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ed. That was super helpful. Is there any questions from the audience? If not, I have one. Can you dive a little deeper, Ed, into why the projected percentage of storage in Filecoin, Filecoin Plus is, and that in relation to the network wide percentage changes the
Yes.
ROI so much?
Yes. I think so. I think I have this. The SPAC to me is like a Bible. So if you go to what is that called again? Some reward. It's a section called baseline maintain. So the main reason is because, okay, so maybe let me do it this way. So by the way, guys, if you want to look through where the algorithm is, there is a gigantic simulation function here. Yeah, so there's a section called projection. There's a calculator. Now, if you expand it, you will see the full algorithm. Again, like this is still a bit this is very clumsy and a bit hard to read. But it's the entire logic is very simple, right? So after you input a network assumption for each particular epoch, you simulate the network growth first, then you go to the individual storage onboarding sessions. Now, going back to Carol's question, why is that very important? Now, the main reason is when you try to calculate the pledge terms, right? You can see, so let me, I think I can find exactly where that is. Give me 1 second. It's a session called My Onboarding. Yes. So as I said, right, so if you, first of all, from the pledge perspective, you'll see that basically overall, when you're trying to calculate a consensus pledge, right, where you're taking for each sort of a particular time epoch, right, you're trying to divide. So how's the consensus pledge calculated? You're trying to divide the normal, basically what is your own quality of adjusted power as a storage provider, right? How much you have been growing as from a QAP perspective, specifically like Filecoin plus deals, divided by the overall network level, right? So here you can mathematically dividing your epoch minor quality adjusted power growth over the you can sort of ignore the maximum operator here, but basically you divide it by the sort of a network overall level quality adjusted power. So what this is saying is this is a very short way of saying your return depends on your normalized version, the normalized scale of your quality adjusted power against the network as a whole. So if you think about it, it's kind of a relation, sort of a relation base, or if you're sharing a large slice of a network pie from a quality adjusted power perspective, then obviously you're gonna have like more mining power when you're trying to claim block rewards. I don't know if that helps to answer the question a bit. Yeah, because
yeah, definitely this is helpful. So assuming I guess I have another question regarding network growth, right? There's another input value that you can assume a certain network growth of of Filecoin. How does that kind of contribute to the overall ROI?
Okay, that's also an important question. So I think if you read the spec, I couldn't find exactly which sentences, but if you go through the math, right, or go through some explanation the crypto econ team has done, you understand that the crypto econ is designed a way they really want you guys to catch up with the network growth or keep pushing. So therefore, if you treat the projected network growth as an average parameter, right, what they want you to do is basically seeing how as an SP, your growth sort of catches up with the overall network growth level. So let's say keep everything fixed, right? If adjusted to 3%, let me see, what was it? This was 1. Yeah, so if you let's say adjust it to 5%, this might be more obvious. Yeah, you'll see that you have a sort of annualized. So as a miner, right, your annualized storage return is actually shrinks. This is because when I just adjust that parameter, I was fixing all of the SP growth parameter constant. Right? So if you think about it, it's more like you're dividing. So maybe let me use some annotation. So it's like your so where's my annotation? Give me 1 second, sorry. So basically this is like
I can see
okay,
your
yeah.
drawing. Yep.
Yeah, okay. So this is saying, you know, if you have a SP growth, right? So this is so bad. And the network G, oh my God. So what I was just doing, right? It's like if you fix this as a constant and sort of increase this, and the overall, we see your share of the growth sort of decrease, right? And that way, that can actually impact your sort of mining returns as well. This is a very sort of a general heuristic on how you should understand the sweep, but this is particularly because the crypto econ protocol is designed the way they want to incentivize the SP to basically catch up with the tide. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ed. That was super informational. And I think we're at time, so we're doing really well. I'm going to stop the recording and